Hey, welcome to Tough Guys. On this video, we're gonna do our kitchen backsplash. So today we are gonna make a run to pick up the material that we need, that we ordered. And let me show you what we've done so far to get ready. So this is the area, the hood vent that we're building. This is the area where the backsplash would go. And kind of pan this around. We've got some knobs for the cabinets that we're looking at trialing here. So basically what we need to do is pick up the backer board that will go on the shiplap underneath, and the tile and the grout and the mastic and everything that we need for that. So when we pick up the order, I'll show you guys what I bought before we start doing any kind of installs.
Here at Floor and Decor.
So here at Floor and Decor, we're gonna pick up the stuff for the kitchen. There it is. Let's go check it out. All right, there was a success. They're bringing out the stuff now and get it loaded up into the truck. So we're getting the tile loaded up. Yeah, man. All right, so we're back at the house and I want to show everybody the material that we picked up at the store, and we'll go through so you guys can see the type of stuff that we decided to buy. All right, so the first thing we'll talk about is the Maypie Type 1. It's just the adhesive that we're gonna use to adhere the tile to the backer board. It shows you a couple of ways to put the mastic on the wall with different types of trowels. It's just basic tile adhesive for the walls. We got a couple of buckets. The Maypie Flex Color CQ is the grout. It's pre-mixed so that you don't have to worry about mixing it up. For backsplash, I think it's great. It has the sealer included already, like it's already mixed in, so you don't have to mess with that either. We got a few of those. I think a good thing to get is some of it's grout caulk, and it is the same color, match that your grout is. And it's good for just, areas where you might need to get that you're having a hard time putting the regular grout. So I always grab a couple of these when I'm doing an install. Next, 1/8 inch tile spacers. I actually had some of these left over from another project, but this is what those guys look like. They're good for spacing out, and subway tile, 1/8 is a good mix for the space. So I like that. Some people like a bigger grout line, but this is pretty good for us for the tile. And we've got, these are the screws we're gonna use to adhere the backer board. And I'll show you all a piece of that out in the shop, but I didn't bring that inside yet, but 1.25 is good enough. All of our backsplash area is shiplap in here, so it's gonna be pretty easy to install that stuff. The tile itself is a 3" by 6" subway tile. It's got the little beveled edge, kind of like that. It gives it a little bit more style, we think. So here it is assembled like the way we're gonna do it with the brick lay. And we're gonna have the spacers in there to keep it apart. So just gonna kind of show how that's gonna look once it's on the wall. All right, we've got everything put away for now. So the next step is to start cutting the backer board for the tile. So I'm gonna show you my process for getting it measured out and ready before I start making cuts. So I'm generally gonna start by finding my 5-foot mark off an inside corner. I'm gonna mark on the wall where that's gonna go. And then I need to use the pen and paper here to diagram my height. Which hopefully is the same here as it is down there. But if I'm a little bit off, I can diagram it out on paper before I take it out to the shop to make my cuts. All right, so the first measurement we want to get is down here underneath, off the counter to the bottom height of the cabinet trim. And it's just shy of 18 inches, so we'll do 17 7/8 on one side. And let me go down and check the other side. And checking down here, a little bit less down here on this end. Now I'm not gonna go through every single measurement that we're gonna do. I'm just gonna start showing you how we do the install, but I wanted to do this piece for a couple of reasons: to show an unlevel cut, and also because there's a receptacle box, which in most cases, people are gonna have to deal with this at some point. So the first thing you wanna do is just measure to the bottom and to the top, and then you're gonna do the same thing off the sidewall from the sides. And now to pull off the back wall, where the piece is gonna be, we've got 40 1/4 to 42 3/4. And basically this is just an example of the drawing. It's probably pretty crude, but it gets the point across for me. Height on one side, height on the other side. Total length is the full length of the board. And then we've got our receptacle box marked, so I know to cut that thing out. So, like I said, I'm not gonna go through every single cut. We're just gonna go through this one, and then I'll show you how we get this board installed. All right, so we are heading out to the shop to make some cuts. I've got some fans going out here, so it's gonna be a bit loud, but I'm gonna try to keep that sound to a minimum so y'all can hear me. Okay, for this next part, we're gonna show you the Hardy backer board, and the most important thing to do before you start cutting it is making sure you have the right blade. So this is a Diablo brand. It's worn, we've used it a ton already. It's designed for cutting Hardy board, which is the same type of product as this. We went with a USG fiber rock for the backer, 1/4 inch. There's lots of different options. There's Durarock, there's foam, there's all kinds of different stuff. So we're going with this, but we don't want to cut it with a normal wood blade. So I'm going to get this thing installed and then show you how that looks on the circular saw. All right, so to get the blade changed out on one of these, generally you're going to have a tool that'll come built into the back side of your circular saw, and just a little wrench here that'll take the nut off. So we're going to start with that. Just comes off pretty easy once you get it loose. So you get the blade out of there, or you get the bolt out of there. Bolt, set that to the side. Locking ring. You pull your guard back. And you lift the blade out of there. And we are free and clear. Let's grab our other blade. Put that in. Set this guy back on there. Let your guard back down, and then put the bolt back in. Sorry about those viewing angles on this one. Just trying to let y'all see the best I could, but hopefully that kind of illustrates the process. Once you have that in there, you want to get this thing locked back down as tight as you can get it. But you're going to need to hold the blade when you're getting it tight. You can use a pair of pliers if you want to hold onto the blade if you're nervous about touching the edge of it. I always just done it with my hands. Probably not the best way. Obviously, don't do this when it's plugged in. Use your head, folks. And the last little bit of advice to think about when using the circular saw, notice this thing is set pretty deep. We're using 1/4 inch board, so there's no reason to cut it with this much past. Most circular saws, it's a skill saw. They're generally gonna have some way to adjust. You're gonna loosen this up, and in the back side here, it has a little kind of like a tape measure or like a measuring stick built in, so you can kind of see where you would be. And I'm gonna lower this thing down to 1/2 inch, and then I'm gonna lock this little arm back down so that it locks that in place. Now you can see past the edge, I've only got a little bit of the blade hanging out. That's all you need. You don't need a whole bunch of that blade sticking out past the edge. Again, don't fool around with this when it's plugged in. And the next step is to get this thing measured out from your dimensions that you took inside, drawn onto the board so that you can make your cuts and then get the board inside to start installing it. Again, I'm not going to detail this process for every single cut we make, but for this first cut, I wanted to show you how we go about doing it. That way you can apply this however you need to for your own project. So again, we're going to diagram out what we've already drawn on the paper from inside onto the board, and then we're going to cut it and take it inside. Okay, so now that we've got the piece all marked and ready to go, let me show you how that looks before I make the cuts. All right, so we started off by marking where the receptacle is going to go here, and I made a few marks for my horizontals. I don't have a speed square that's that long so that I can use the yardstick to make the straight cuts, or the straight lines for the cuts. So this is where we would cut out the hole for the receptacle, and then for the length of it, remember we were off by about 1/4 of an inch from one side to the other. So this end to that end, I went ahead and used the chalk line to make that line so I know where to cut. So this is the next step. I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing cut, and then we'll get it inside and put it up on the wall. All right, so now we're gonna make the cut. Be smart, wear something for your eyes. It doesn't have to be a $100 pair, just get something. This kind of stuff is gonna throw particles everywhere. Wear eye protection. If you want to wear gloves, wear gloves too. That's up to you. I just don't do that with this sort of stuff, but eye protection. Now let's get this thing cut. And there's our cut. There is the cut. So we've got the receptacle box cut out, and we ran our line. We cut just on top of the red mark for the chalk line. So now we're gonna get this thing inside, fit it in place, and screw it to the wall. All right, so the first piece is inside. We've got it placed on the wall. It's looking good, so we're gonna screw it in. All right, so now we gotta get the backer board screwed in. We use these 1¼ inch screws. The kids are having lunch, so you're gonna hear them scream. Just get used to that, these videos. You want to get these as driven down as you can. I normally use the impact driver for that reason. So let me get it screwed in, and then I'll show you up close how these need to look. All right, so the first piece is all screwed in, and got these screws countersunk here just a little bit in. That way we don't have any issues when we start applying the mastic to the wall. All right, so we're gonna cut the rest of the pieces outside of the shop because with the dust inside of there, it's just gonna make everything horrible. So we moved out onto the deck. I'm gonna speed through some cuts for you guys, and just, like I said, keep getting things installed. We don't get too hung up on each cut and each measure, but still so you can kind of get a feel for the way this stuff needs to happen, and definitely make your cuts outside if you're able to. We've got the next piece cut, so we're gonna get that taken inside and put in. What do you think, man? Come on, get in the shot. What you think? You like it? It's always good to have helpers. If you don't, hire some, make some, do what you need. Always good to have some good help, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right, tell them if it fits all right.
Fits perfect.
Show me.
There's a hole.
Yeah?
It's correct.
It's correct.
And there's a line. It's correct.
All right, the second piece is in. We're gonna get it screwed in and keep moving forward. We'll jump ahead a bit and show y'all once we've got a few more of these pieces installed in the kitchen. All right, we got all the backer board up. Everything's looking good. Getting everything ready for tile soon. Hey guys, we just wrapped up part 1 of the Kitchen Backsplash Tile Install, and this first part focused on getting the backer board done, picking up our material, giving you guys an overview of all the stuff we're going to be using for the install. And in part 2, we're actually going to do the tile and the grouting and the cutting and all that stuff. So we hope you enjoyed part 1. As always, if you like the video, hit the like button, hit subscribe, hit the notifications so you can know when we post new videos. And thanks a ton for watching and supporting the channel, and we'll see you in the next project.